Well, I was brought up in an ethos of the Jesuits, and that was really that you serve God, you serve the people by serving God, and you serve God by serving the people. But you know that was the whole concept of it, and so the whole thought was that in your life you should be doing something which would help the people, and I think one sought out jobs like that, and I saw public relations as part of that role. After all, we've been in the Royal Marines and Commander Group and things like that during the war, and a load of us would come out into the brave new world, and we were looking for something that would have an effect, and that was, for me, it. Well, I mean, you could write a book about each one of those, but that's what it is the need in society today, with a changing public, a more educated public, a more questioning public that we were constantly being faced with, that they were going to be on our tail, so to speak, and we had to be able to respond. And so that not only was it necessary for a corporation to be and exist and provide products at prices for customers and to attract investors, but they had to have the support of the community and the state. There were other publics other than just investors or customers. I have to say, leaders of industry and chairmen didn't recognize in the early days. They thought we were mad actually to talk to them about anything other than a customer or an investor. Employees even weren't really sort of thought of as being an independent public, seen in their own right and having a viewpoint. I saw Arthur Page's philosophy essentially as being that what people think matters. He was extremely strong on this. His job, as he saw it, was to interpret what the public think, what the customers think, what the investors think, to the management of a corporation or the bosses. He felt that they got too close to themselves and often didn't understand what was happening in the outside world. And so he saw his interpretive role, his being a bridge, very, very strongly. That was actually what he dedicated his life to be honest. What outside people, outside an organisation think matters to the organisation. That was the heart of his approach, and he took that as the purpose of his being, as that interpretive role. He never saw himself as a propagandist or a publicist. He saw himself as being an interlocutor. That's Latin. Arthur Page was one of the first I met who was on the corporate side, and so it was interesting to me, very interesting to me, to see the work that we were doing, not as having clients and dealing with their problems, to which one was often exposed, but actually as a part of management. And that was really what it was. The fundamental basis of my credo is really quite simple, and it covers the whole field, and that is what people think matters. And it isn't what you think, or indeed what specifically an outside group might think, but it's in total, taking into account what people think. And they can be cover a whole event. And so that's what it is. It's I suppose under today's terms it would cover things like accountability and transparency and negotiation and consultation. Those are the inwords that are now used in business management. But in general terms, that's what it is. It's what people think matter. Well, I mean, it's truth. I mean, that is the fundamental issue that we're all faced with, is concern for the public, truth. Three things on there in PR, really. truth, concern for the public interest, the general interest, and dialogue. Those are the three things that make professional public relations. That's what it is. And if you each one of them, you can take a look at each one of those things, but all three together have got to be present in an activity, or before they can, a thing can be described as a public relations exercise. Those are three things. They've got to be present. I think the big challenge for a professional communicator is that you're always thinking from your own organisation outwards, when you ought to be thinking from the public inwards to them. And the great thing is to balance the two things. If we're only doing half the job, you're only doing half the job. It's getting those two things together. And quite frankly, it needs courage, personal courage very often, to stand up for what the outside world thinks.